This painting is called, well, I call it the Latin lesson. And it's a painting that has a long history. When Beryl's first grandchildren, born in 1980 and 83, went to school, secondary school, Beryl wanted them to learn Latin. So we are talking about 1993 or 4. And they weren't teaching Latin in their school. Beryl was sure that Latin was the epitome of culture and education. So she asked the publisher, Colin Haycraft from Duckworth, to give her children grandchildren, Latin lesson. And she went along. And that was how the painting originated. Then the painting changed. The children disappeared. There was a scene of Colin and Beryl having some kind of altercation. And hence, we still retain Colin's admonishing finger. Then finally, when she wrote, according to Queenie, she became involved with the figure of Dr. Johnson, she introduced Dr. Johnson in the painting. So there is Beryl, Colin, Dr. Johnson, the usual paraphernalia that goes in a picture, the pot, the flowers, the doilies, the bottle, etc. And then in the back, yes, Dr. Johnson is showing a miniature of Mrs. Thrale's portrait, such as done by Joshua Reynolds. And then in the background, there are all sorts of other figures. Here, it's Queenie that Beryl's eyes look at, and there is a figure of some kind of prelate or pope or whatever, very much within the Catholic tradition, dressed up, because Beryl had started her religious career, I should say, as a Catholic, then changed and reverted and so on. And obviously he's admonishing, preaching, and possibly in Latin. Because Beryl always felt that Latin should have been the language of the church. And I said to her, but you know, people don't understand Latin anymore. And her answer was, all the better, because religion ought to be mysterious.